Good morning, fellow YouTubers. It's Sunday morning, the 11th of August 2024, and I'm just off out for another adventure with a slight difference. I haven't got Bear in the back of the car. I've left him with my daughter in her house for this trip out because I'm going through to Yorkshire to do the GUNNERSIDE GILL walk, where there's loads and loads and loads of sheep. There's very tight style gaps in the wall that you've got to get through. So basically, if I've got Bear on the lead, it's very difficult for us to get through the turnstiles and along the slippy, muddy pathways, because he might pull us over. So I've given it a miss this week, but I've told my daughter I'll pick him up on the way back. I'll just call it at her house before I come to mine. So I'll just pick him up from Bowling Lane and then drive over the John Reid Road here to the Nook Shops, where I live, literally. Right, so that's me journey today. So I'm going to go from here and go onto the A1, then take the Chesterley Street turn off down to the bottom roundabout and get on the A167 and then start heading towards Durham. I'll be driving through Durham a little bit and then turning right and going through a little village called Tudhoe, Tudhoe, and then through Tudhoe, and then turn right at the big roundabout to get on the A688, and I'm going to be following that all the way along towards Barnard Castle. Then when I cross the Stone Arch Bridge with the traffic lights, my voice is dry, I'll be turning left to go up the sills, and then take that road until it meets the A66. Then I'll be crossing over, turning right, and then take the first left onto Stang Lane, which will take us right across the moors towards Langthwaite, and that's where I'll be turning right after the big pub called the CB Inn. Right, so I'll bring you back. Bye for now. I'm in Durham at the moment, so I've just come through Chesterley Street and continued along the A167, and there's loads and loads of traffic cones around the roundabout, so you've got to make sure that you get in the right lane to get through, because they're right round the roundabouts as well, so it's a pain in the arse. But I've just pulled over in this bus stop just so I can adjust my Garmin Drive Smart 61 GPS. I'm just testing it out because I've updated the maps again to 2025, so hopefully I'll be able to keep on the roads, not go off on grass when the maps are wrong. But so far from South Shields going where I'm going towards Barnard Castle, it's been pretty much spot on. Right, so I'll bring it back. Bye for now. It's 7:33 AM in the morning, the Sunday morning, the 11th of August 2024, and I've just pulled over in this bus stop, so I'll have a quick wee. I was desperate. And what we've got here, no traffic reported ahead, and I'm leading down into Barnard Castle. So I followed the A688 all the way along, and now we drop down onto the short road A67 and drive through Barnard Castle. When I get to the far side of Barnard Castle, I'm going to cross over the arched stone bridge where its traffic lights controlled. Then I'm turning left and follow that road right the way along to meet the A66. We cross over Central Reservation, turn right and drive about 5,000 yards up the road, and then turn left onto Stang Lane, and that's what's going to take us right over to the top of the moors, heading for the area of Langthwaite. Right, so I'll bring you back. Bye for now. It's 7:56 AM in the morning, this Sunday morning, the 11th of August 2024. I've just crossed over from Barnard Castle across the A66, then drove 1,000 yards up and then turned left onto Rutherford Lane, which I'm on now, and I'm heading right across over towards Langthwaite in a huge pub called the CB Inn. So that's where I'm going to be turning right to go to Lowrow, and then that's when I continue over towards Gunnerside from there. So I've just pulled over at the farm entrance, so just so I can have a look on the map, see what it says, because obviously these country roads haven't got names on them or numbers, so the GPS just says turn left onto Rutherford Lane. Now I also used to think this is Stang Lane, but it says leading over to Stang Lane, so it might be the one where you get onto where you go down the CB Inn pub. So I'm on Rutherford Lane going over, and then follow this road right up to the top, and then you climb and climb and climb and climb and up over the top, and then drop down over the moors. Right, so obviously in countryside now, Right, so I'll bring you back. Bye for now. Okay, so I'm continuing along Stang Lane at the beginning where the GPS says turn off the A66 on Rutherford Lane. So obviously the first half a mile of the road must be Rutherford Lane, and then it says bear right and stay on Stang Lane. So basically that's what I'm doing, and I'm going to be bypassing the Stang forestry on the left hand side, as you can see, all those trees up ahead. So you just keep on going and then start climbing up and climbing, going up past the forestry trees there, and then you do an S-bend at the top, and then you come to the top where it changes from Durham to Teesdale or wherever, where you see the signs. So that's where I'm going. Right, so bye for now. What time is it now? 7:58, 2 minutes to 8 o'clock. Right, so bye for now. Right, so I've come right away along the Stang Lane from the A66 at Barnet Castle, and I've come right up to the top. So after you pass the trees on the left hand side of Stang Forest, there's a really nasty steep S-bend that you've got to come up and then over the cattle grate and cross the border into Richmondshire. And obviously I've just stopped here because you've got the big sign there showing you that you're going into Richmondshire. So I've got to drop down now Stang Lane all the way down to the bottom until I come to the T-junction. Then I turn left and drop down about 1,000 yards, and then I pass the big pub called the CB Inn. It's also another name, it's the Charles Bathurst. I don't know why it's got two names, but it's Charles Bathurst and the CB Inn. So I pass that, drop down past a little school on the right, then I take a little right turn, and then I'll follow that road up and round some nasty S-bends dropping down. Then I cross the stream over a ford, and then up and over on the other side, and then drop down Loro, past Surrender Bridge, then just keep on dropping down. So obviously I've got this sheep everywhere loose on the road, so you've got to drive very, very carefully. I've just drove past like a big bush where those two young lambs had just sat up and then just started getting up and going across the road. So you've got to be very, very careful because it can just appear from anywhere. But you're so high up here and you've got beautiful views right across. Just thought I'd put that on video before I got any further. Right, so I'll bring you back. Bye for now. I've drove over Stang Lane quite a few times going over to where I'm going at Loro and then on to Gunnerside. And I've just realised that there's a track taking it down towards that farm cottages down there on the right, and there's a bit of a stone bridge across a stream. I've just passed another house on the right hand side back there, and you can see the stream going down past it, so it looks like a pretty nice area to go and have a little scout around and see if there's any nice little camping spots where you can do an overnight camp next to your water source. Just going to continue right along this Stang Lane now, like I say, and the countryside's absolutely stunning because you're so high up, and then now I'm dropping down. Right, so I'll bring it back. Bye for now. Right, so I've got to the far side of Stang Lane, and I've come to the T-junction where I'm turning left to go downhill to the CB Inn pub. So as you can see, the signpost is pointing left to Reeth, 3 miles, and it's pointing right to go to the Tan Hill Inn pub, the highest pub in Great Britain, elevation wise. So I just thought I'd stop and put that on video as well to show you exactly where I am. So you drop down past these, this bit of the road's called New Houses. So you drop down the bank there and the pub comes up on your left. Right, so bye for now. Right, it's 8:05 AM in the morning, this Sunday morning, the 11th of August 2024. So I've came past the CB Inn pub, I've turned right and come up over the top and then dropping down again round that nasty S-bend, which is really steep and it's tight S-bend coming down. And now I've got to cross over the stream there by the ford, then go up that S-bend and then drop over the top, then drop down to Surrender Bridge, the stone bridge, then just drop down, go straight over, then up over the top past Low Row, and then drop down onto the main road, which is the B6270 at the Punch Bowl Inn pub, and then I'm going to be turning right and then heading along towards the village of Gunnerside and cross the bridge by the King's Head pub, and that's where you park the car. So I just wanted to stop and show you. There's a few people camping out here just by the small stream to get their water sources, obviously. people in camper vans. So this is one of my favourite places to come. I just continue up and over and then go to Surrender Bridge, park up and then turn right and go along the tracks past the old mining ruins. There's loads of them as well. I'm going to be passing loads anyway on my Gunnerside Gill walk. Right, so I'll bring you back. Bye for now. Okay, I've come over the top of Low Row from Langthwaite, where the pub is called the CB Inn, and I've came over the cattle grate, drove over the ford, up over the top and round the S-bends, and now we start dropping back down again. And you can see the sign up ahead where there's a steep bank. So just by that farm cottage, you turn right there and drop downhill, and there's a sign on the left hand side of the road saying Low Row. So you drop down at the bottom of that and then you turn right at the pub called the Punch Bowl, and that's where you start going along the road, the B6270, until I get to the village of Gunnerside, and that's where I'm going to be parking the car to start my walk along the Gunnerside Gill walk. So I'm just passing a place where there's a crossroads where there's a dirt track goes off to the left and the right to go to farm cottages either side, and then I'll be dropping down to that cattle grate at the bottom and bearing right and dropping downhill. Right, so I'll bring you back. Bye for now. Right, so I've come down past this sign called Low Row, down this little steep bank, and this little area is called Feetham. That's F-E-E-T-H-A-M, Feetham. And I'm just stopped to show you the signs for the Punch Bowl Inn. And now I'm going down on the bottom road, which is the B6270, and I'll drive along there about 3 to 4 miles, and it'll take us to the village of Gunnerside, so I can do the Gunnerside Gill walk along from the King's Head pub. Right, so bye for now. It's 8:40 AM in the morning. I've just turned right to get on past the Punch Bowl Inn from Feetham, after coming down past the sign called Low Row. Then you come past this sign here where it says the Strands, which is just a couple of houses right on the edge of the road. So once you get to Strands, you're very, very, very near to Gunnerside village. So I'll be parking up in about 2 to 3 minutes. So just a reminder, it's the 11th of August 2024, Sunday morning, and I'm in Gunnerside, Yorkshire. Bye for now. It's 8:41 AM in the morning, and I've arrived at the 30 miles an hour signs and the sign for Gunnerside, because I'm going downhill slightly into the village. So you drive down here, it's very, very tight in places where there's cars parked, obviously, so you've got to be very careful going past them because there's like bottlenecks. So you drive very gently into the village, you cross over the arch bridge where the river runs underneath the Gunnerside Gill, and then you've passed the pub on the left hand side called the King's Head. And just as you pass over the top of the bridge, you turn right, and that's where the cars park alongside the wall. So that's where I'm going to be parking the car now, and just getting everything ready for to do my walk up the Gunnerside Gill towards the ruins. It's a lovely walk. I mean, obviously the river won't be. Okay, it's 8:43 AM in the morning. I've locked up the car. I'm just about to start my walk. I'll just do a brief walk around the village as you turn in here, just to show you. I mean, this is a dead end, but I just wanted to show you the old working smithy. Defibrillator, post box. So obviously that just takes up the dead end where the houses are at the top. But yeah, this is the old smithy. It's got the old grinding wheel there. And obviously he'll have his anvils and everything else in there for shaping metal, struts and everything. Right, so they must be going to sandblast this building or something, because they've got scaffolding right around it. So I drove here with no problems at all this morning, with it being a Sunday morning early. So I've backed up as much as I can, flattening the bloody nettles, just so I can get my car off the tarmac. Once again, I part responsibly, give plenty of room. Normally I go down there, the steps with the dog. I used to let Corn go down there and go in for a plodge and a drink, which he always did. And this is happy memories for me every time I come to Gunnerside, because I've got lots and lots of videos, happy memories with Corn going up the Gunnerside Gill walk, and then sitting at the slab bridge at the ruins where we stop and have our picnic and share our chocolate biscuits and what have you. I miss that dog, like. Where I said to my daughter, I'm going to miss having Bear out with us as well, because I would like to have brought him here. But like I say, when you get past the church and you start going into the countryside, there's loads and loads of sheep. So obviously I'd have to have him on the leader constantly, where he'd be dragging us all over, and I wouldn't be able to take photographs. And he'd be trying to pull us through the thin gaps in the wall for the styles. Morning. Looks like Hong Kong Phooey. So obviously if you want to go over towards Mooka and that, you've got the Swale Trail, if you can go straight up there. Done that from here, Gunnerside to Mooka as well, loads of times. But there's a view of the Gunnerside Gill trickling down over all the boulders. So like I say, even though it hasn't been raining for days, you've still got quite a bit of water coming along to get that lovely sound of running water, which is very therapeutic. Right, so let's start our walk, going along here towards the church. Normally the people out here hang up loads of bird feeders with, you know, the balls of fat and everything. So usually loads hanging up here. Corn used to love coming here because he knew exactly what he was going to be doing, and he knew all the places where he'd be going in the water, plodging and getting a drink and that, and just generally running around, because I can trust him off the leader. But obviously Bear's too young, he hasn't got much experience of being out in the countryside, so if he's seen sheep off the lead and he want to run after them and try to make friends with them, where he doesn't understand that they're country bloody animals, not dogs and pets. Right, so that's the back of that building where they've got the scaffolding up the back end as well to do the sand blasting probably. There's a smithy where I've just walked past. So you walk this way going up the Gunnerside Gill to the ruins and all that, and then you come back a different way and drop down where that grassed area is at the back of the smithy, if you want to. Depends on your mode, as if you want to stay close to the water and follow the gill all the way back down, or countryside high up, looking across, like this lot here. So these houses over there to the left is just where you can, as far as you can drive up past the smithy, and that's it. And you've got to turn around and come back out. And you hear the chickens and the cockles in the courtyard of the houses. Right, so this is where you come to the gate, where you don't go any further, you don't go in the church. There's a wooden board on the right hand side pointing up the stairs. So that's where you go to start the walk. Turn right here and go up the stairs. There's like little gates that you open, are hooked on. Right. forgot how steep these bloody steps are. Whoa. Right. Everything's starting to overgrow here on this track, look. So you've got to keep looking to it to see where you put your feet. Otherwise you trip over the steps. Oh, straight away, keep your dogs on a lead, under control. Nesting birds, do not disturb them, because we want to shoot the shit out of them. Right, so that's a path that takes you up and round. If you want to go across the top of the moors, this is where it brings you back down as you get to Gunnerside. I've come doing that one before, come through here. Where I came over from Low Row, walked across the moors at one time to see if I could do it and find my way. And sure enough, I did. Right, so this is where you follow the wall surrounding the church. And then you start going through broken walls and veer off to the left. And then start going through the tree line. And that's where it starts getting a bit awkward, the path. It's uneven, full of tree roots in it. So you've got to be careful. Last thing you want to be doing is falling over in a bunch of nettles. Especially I haven't got my long sleeve top on today. I'm thinking, well, I looked at the maps last night on Ventusky, and it looks like it's going to be, well, I'm frightened to say it in case I jinx it, but you know what I'm getting at. It's, let's just say a nice day for walking. A very slight breeze, nothing wet, shall we say. Right, so this is the church grounds. So it must have been a bit of a house or something at one time. And you can just see the end of the houses on the other side of the river there, look, where you can drive up, that's it. A lot of people turning on in their cars there. This side of the river as well, when you look up the hill, there's just barn after barn after barn after barn, dotted all over the countryside. That's what Yorkshire's noted for. Lots of little stone barns. I was thinking about bringing my camera, and I thought, nah, because you've got to squeeze through skinny styles now, and your camera's like bash, bash, bash off the walls when you step up and try to get through them. So I'll just have to use my GoPro 9 to record everything, and I've got loads of space. I've brought all my batteries fully charged up, so I've got enough to cover the journey there and back, hopefully. Now normally there's sheep around here, obviously there'll be more as we go further on when you get into the open areas, and that's why I've chose deliberately not to bring Bay with us this time, so I don't have him on a leader and dragging us all over, because you might want to go that way but he drags that way, you're going flying. But I must admit, he's getting much better now on the leader since we took his harness off and we put the prong collar on. After he starts dragging it, you just give it a quick jerk, and sometimes he yelps because it must be like a little nip off a puppy bite to the neck, and that's enough to slow him down and remind him that he's dragging along. So it's worked over the months because he's more, you can handle him now much better, especially for me. So this is the time of the where it's the river's not raging fast, so you can